If you want to learn breathing and visualization techniques that help me manage labor and actually enjoy the birthing experience, keep on watching. Hey there, I'm Jalette, a mama of 3 under 5, and I'm currently training to become a birth and postpartum doula. This channel is all about pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. So please hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything. Now let's talk about breathing. Something very simple. We do it involuntarily all day, but these breathing and visualization techniques will really help you during your labor and honestly through any kind of stressful situation or just to calm down at night. I mean, I use these techniques almost every day in day-to-day life. Hopefully you find these helpful. And I will say, if you're using these for coping with labor, this is not just for an unmedicated birth. You will be going through some fairly intense contractions even before you get your epidural. Your epidural may not work. So this is really for anyone who will be going through the birthing experience. It's so important for you to have those coping and management skills in your back pocket, whether you're going for an unmedicated birth or not. And these can be practiced anytime. I find it best to practice daily as much as you can. That way it's sort of involuntary when you go to do them when you're in the actual situation. So my times that I really use these were in the morning when I woke up but hadn't gotten out of bed yet, or at night going to sleep. That's the time you can be the most focused and really work on your breathing. Okay, so the first type of breath and visualization we're going to talk about is truly just a calming breath. Now, if you've never done any sort of meditation or yoga even or anything like that, this type of coached breathing is going to be very strange at first. So this is a good one to start, and it's really just a calming breath. You're just breathing in to your comfort level and breathing out to your comfort level, and this is through your nose. So in through your nose and out through your nose as well. So that your visualization should be somewhere where you feel most calm. For me, I try to visualize laying on the beach. And the visualization part is pretty important because I know, especially like, let's say when you lay down at night or when you wake up in the morning, you are thinking about the 100 things that you need to do or didn't do, or just about the day, or any of the anxieties that kind of creep in when you're sitting still. So this is very important to do the breath, but also to try to visualize something very calming so that your brain can relax. So these two in conjunction are very helpful to calm yourself down. Now you may notice I don't do a count for these breaths. I think you just do it to your comfort level. So breathe in until you feel the need to breathe out. It shouldn't be anything that's causing you stress, which I find sometimes with the counting causes me a little stress because I feel like I can't breathe in that long or breathe out that long. So just go to your comfort level for this one. So now let's try this together. Now, once you have that one down, another one I found helpful, I'm gonna call it the dilation breathing. I started doing this when I was at the end of my pregnancy and the baby's due date had passed and we're just waiting for labor to start. So I will call this the dilation breath. And most of that is the visualization you're going to use with it. I'll touch a little bit on how important the visualization part is with this and how strong your mind is when it comes to what's happening to you physically. This one will be helpful to get your mind in the right place, but also get your body ready for labor. So for this dilation breath, we're going to use the same breathing as the calming. So it's going to be in your nose and out your nose to your comfort level. But the visualization here is going to be a flower opening up. I found this to be very helpful when you're waiting for labor to start, or if you're going through some super early labor where your contractions are very far apart. I found that this was helpful to get more consistent with your breathing and hopefully get your body ready to be in active labor. Okay, so let's try this one again. The third type of breath and visualization I found to be the most helpful. This is really what helped me through laboring at home as long as possible before I went to the hospital, which is really the goal here, to be in the comforts of your own home for as long as you can stand it. This is what I used when I was managing through early labor contractions, laying in bed. This is also what I used once those contractions got more intense and I needed to be up and moving around, which are some techniques that we'll talk about in a later video, the more physical aspect of coping with those contractions. But as far as the breathing goes, I used this breath even when I was up moving around or in the shower or whatever you're using physically to manage your labor. This is a good breath to do in conjunction with that. Keeps your mind right, keeps your body right. This labor breath and visualization is called up breathing, and I'll explain a little bit about that. And this is all found in the Hypnobirthing book, which I will link in the description box. But this first stage of labor, really what your uterus is doing is lifting up, and that's what makes your cervix dilate. I'll go over all of this too in my contractions video. So this up breathing is helpful to make your contractions more productive. So that means it's thinning out your cervix more, bringing you closer to having your baby, which is what we want. So the breath here is going to be in through your nose, and it's going to be out through your nose as long as you can stand it, and then you will switch to breathing out through your mouth. I think this may be dependent on the person, what's comfortable for you. For me, I switch over to the breathing out fairly quickly. When things start to get any sort of painful, I feel that the breathing out through your mouth is helpful with coping. So again, this is done to your comfort level, but with this breath, you really want to focus on breathing up. So your visualization should be something along the lines of a hot air balloon rising into the air. And so it's rising with your in-breath. So that's the breath you're taking in. And then I try to visualize with the out-breath, the hot air balloon floating away. So you're breathing in, the hot air balloon's coming up. And then as you're breathing out, the hot air balloon is floating away. Sounds totally crazy, but I swear it helps. Another one that could be useful if you don't want to use the hot air balloon visualization is a wave. So as you breathe in, you imagine the wave coming up, and you can visualize like surfer on that wave. So as you're breathing in, the wave's coming up, the surfer is on top of the wave. And then as you're breathing out, the surfer is gliding on top of the water. So as you're breathing in, the wave's coming up, and as you're breathing out, it's slowly dissipating back into the water. And again, with that out breath, you're not really focusing on down. That will be the next stage when you're actually pushing your baby out. We're going to focus on down breathing. Even though you're breathing out, try to think of things as lifting up. And the up visualization for the second part of the breath was a little difficult for me, so I try to focus on moving out. So up and out. So let's practice that. Final breath and visualization technique is down breathing. Now you would use this breath if you are in the final stages of labor and baby is coming down the birth canal and you want to help that along with your calm breath and this visualization. So for this breath, you really want to focus on the in breath is of course important, but the out breath is going to be elongated, and completely empty out your diaphragm when you do this. So the out breath is going to be a little bit exaggerated, and your visualization here is going to be your baby coming down the birth canal. And for this fourth one, the out breath is going to be out through your mouth, and you can use any sort of vocalization you'd like to use. I would say do what feels natural to you. Birth is loud, it's noisy, and that's okay. So you're really emptying out your diaphragm with that out breath and visualizing your baby coming down the birth canal. Now I'd say don't let this be a tense sort of out breath. You want to keep things loose. Also in the Hypnobirthing book, they touch on how your jaw muscles are related to your pelvic muscles. So the key here through all of these breaths really is to keep your jaw and your mouth loose. You don't want any strenuous movements or tensing up, because that will affect your progression down below. I swear this stuff sounds like voodoo, but it works. So we're gonna really elongate that out breath, keep everything loose, and let's practice this one. Once you get to those later stages of labor, when you are pushing your baby out, you can line these breaths up to where you are in your contractions, and you can use that out breath to push. And so I gave you some ideas of visualizations to use, but really it's the concept that's the most important. So if you have any other visualizations that you think would work with this, comment down below and let us know. So like dilation, flower opening up, labor breath, hot air balloon, and down breathing, baby coming through the birth canal. And if you have used these types of breathing and visualizations before in your labor, let us know how it worked, if you were able to focus on them, and what you found to be the most helpful. I was honestly shocked at how much these helped me during my labor, and that really proves that what's going on in your mind truly does affect your physical state. And I feel like these breathing techniques help you focus on what's actually happening, staying centered, and just being in tune with what's going on in your body so you get rid of that fear. And if you have any questions, comment down below or reach out. I'm happy to chat with you. All right, that about wraps up our breathing techniques for coping with labor. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss anything, and like this video if it was helpful for you. And don't forget to comment down below with your due date or where you are in your pregnancy journey. Thanks for watching. Stay zen.